All right. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing, everybody? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic considering our circumstances.
Well, consider our circumstance, we still two chocolate brothers.
Child, barely. Barely. We about to be an endangered species out this bitch.
I feel you, but how you doing, Sampson? What you doing to keep up, to make it funny? You know, are you telling jokes? What you got to say about all of this today?
I'm down in the protest with everybody else. Get me some new electronics to go in my house, okay? I'm waiting for some more shit to burn so I can go down there to the credit union, break it there, and change my credit score. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, I was at the doctor's office. They said my insurance was declined. I said, well, all is black, all insurance black. I just wanted to just, I know how it feels, but in this instance, what do you think about Trump though? Like signing that executive order today and speaking up, quote unquote, for the victims of police brutality. How do you think he did today? Do you think that it was really sincere?
When is anything that your president do sincere? When has he ever done anything that's sincere other than line his pockets? You know, that man, one thing you got to give him, Trump knows how to play people like a violin, and he is playing people like violins. I'm telling you, this dude is playing people. It's just everything. Everything he does is a hot ass mess. And people, because we live in a country that loves drama, we love confusion. That's the reason why that orange bitch is gonna win a re-election.
Right.
He's gonna win.
Right, because but let's be clear, he's a marketing genius.
He's a marketing genius. He knows that this country is very celebrity obsessed.
Yeah.
And we also thrive on drama, and he gives all of that. You know, Obama kept us enveloped around him and his administration because he was very charming. We'd never seen anything like that before. And he just so happened to be our first black president, okay? As our first black president, and any other black or minority president that we will have, they're going to have to come correct, okay? President Obama dotted every I. He crossed every T. You know, he practically reinvented the whole goddamn alphabet because he had to as a black man in that White House. And they still talk shit about him. And now they want Michelle Obama to run for president. She's not about to do that because, you know, people complain that they weren't black enough during the 2 terms they was in there. If y'all want to see black, let Michelle run for president. She's going to cuss all these motherfuckers out.
Right, because she said, I've been around the most smartest people in the world, and they're not that smart.
They're not that smart. They have access and privilege is what they have. If you gave black people the same accesses and privileges and all that other stuff that other people have, this world would turn upside down. And there are just a few things that they don't want us to figure out because they know if we had that information, things would look a whole lot different out here. And the last thing you want is for all these black people out here to get financially competent and stable.
But let's just get into this with President Trump, though. He passed the Second Chance Act. You know, he did sign the executive order to have a database for all bad police officers that's into like police brutality, so we know what's going on. I mean, he did let that black woman out of prison. You know, she was in prison for drugs. So he have done some good for the community. I just think that what his insults trump all the good that he does.
Just his insults?
His insults and his tone deaf. But let's be clear here.
Just his insults and tone deaf. That's it.
Insult, tone deaf with his
Killing people, being racist, inciting a race war, being horrible with the economy, being horrible with relations,
but
not knowing how to address.
Joe Biden ain't no angel.
I didn't say he was an angel. We know Joe Biden is an idiot.
Okay, so but what I'm saying is, would you rather have an open and honest idiot or a closeted down low idiot? Which one would you rather have?
I would have a closeted down low idiot, because at least we know that he's attempting. When you have to hide it, at least you're making attempts. When you got somebody who's just a straight up fool, then we just get to look at them set shit on fire. It's time to put some of these fires out.
I agree with you on that. I really do. It was a woman in Chicago. She was begging, crying because the food was gone. Food all over the floor. She was extremely upset. But what do you have to say?
Food was all over the floor.
All over the floor, like apples and oranges, open package.
You better learn how to pick that shit up and blow it off. It's a 5-second rule on shit like that.
She was so mad. She said, I can't here to pay for food. How am I going to feed my babies? And I was looking at the video. I'm like, ma'am, you got apples, oranges. Take what you can grab. This is a blessing. Right, your ship didn't came in. Now it came in with busted windows, and you got to go over stuff, but it is here. But
a ship is a ship. Jump on that motherfucker.
So, what do you say about all of the African Americans as well as some Caucasians that decided to loot these stores? What do you have to say about those people? Are you in support of looting? Against it? What's your thoughts on it?
I told you I got a new TV. I'm for it. And the reason I'm for it, because it's a form of justice.
Okay.
That, people call it whatever they want to. And I mean, people look at the act. See, this is the thing. People look at the act of civilians looting as a negative thing, when this country was founded on looting. The government loots. What do you think? Taxes, that's looting. All these other unjust things that they're doing to us, that's looting. It's just that when people stand up, and looting is an act of protest. I think they should. I think yes, it's cool to go down there, get you a blender, get you some soap, get you some toilet paper, break into the credit union, change your credit score, do whatever the hell you want to do while you're out there. But also make it a point to burn down some shit that counts. Go down there to the police stations, go to the courthouses, put some fires down there, because every single society and civilization has done that except for us, and it's coming.
Absolutely. Coming. Well, we have done some things in history. If you look at the movement of the revolt, the slave revolt of folks that came to that is with Nat Turner. So we actually have done some things in here. If you read history, like when we think of slavery, everybody was listening to master. That have not always been the case. You had those that took some masters and some children.
I want to make it very clear that even though people were slaves, those people were revolting. They were, because on my father's side, I am a descendant of slaves who escaped plantations. They went and they worked to get money to come back and buy other relatives, and they built their own houses. They were educated. And I went back and I did the research on these people, and more of us come from that than we think. Okay. Absolutely. So, we weren't sitting around out there crying around fires and shit, eating corn on the cob. They were cornrowing that hair, putting them maps in people's hair to teach people how to run the such and such to get to Harriet Tubman and them. and as quiet as it's kept, there were many more Harriet Tubmans than we realized.
Absolutely.
There are some stories out there, some women, they probably didn't go back and forth. They probably, because Harriet, she had heart. She had a lot of compassion. She went back a few times. If it would have been me, when I got away that first time, I'd have been like, I'd have sent a text message or something back to the plantation and told them, this is where I'm at. Y'all are on your own. But there were people who did things like that, and we need to realize that's the stock that we come from. Our issue is we're lazy, and we allow people to get us emotional. Just like it took Trump signing one little funky ass bill to make you go, oh yeah, but he signed this bill. We get so emotional over that. Somebody gave some black people some crumbs. So
I'm not emotional, but what I am going to say, he have done some policies in place. He did.
Everybody has. They always give y'all steps
He have done the First Step Act. And,
yeah, but they always do enough stuff to put a pacifier in y'all's mouth.
As an investor in the stock market, the stocks are up, and I have a couple of some investments, and I'm getting a pretty good return.
They are
from that, me included. So, President Trump doing pretty good when it comes with the stock market. So, but I will say this though, he's very racist. We know this, but I
don't even think you're racist. I just think you don't give a fuck.
Continue to thrive. But what I do understand that it's not just President Trump's fault for these failing states and cities and towns. Okay. A lot of this is Democrat run and operated. And what happened in Minneapolis, that's Democrats run that, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to hold them to the same standard we're putting Donald Trump on. We put Republicans on a standard that we come at them hard, but we give Democrats a pass, We
don't get them a pass, and I'm gonna tell you why we don't give them a pass. We don't give them a pass because we don't go out and vote. Okay. Now, if we were out voting, then we would have a reason to argue. But most people, if you look at the statistics, are not going out voting the way they should be. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people look at the things that are happening, and so many people are living paycheck to paycheck. So many people are barely making it that politics as we know it, they don't feel like that applies to their lives. There's so many people out here who are either on government assistance and they feel like they're going to get whatever assistance they have regardless, or there are people out here who are making money on the black market. You see them brothers down there at the gas station selling soap and incense and condoms and drugs. I got a card. This fool out here gave me this business card the other night, and I'm not plugging him, but this is a business card for a dude who sells dope. Okay. And people are out here making money however they need to make money and survive. And that's what people get. More politicians who speak street language, and then maybe you might get some more people who get out here.
Absolutely. But this is all that I tell people. I will be, running for office pretty soon.
Lord.
I'm gonna keep it real. I do have on my boot. My leg is temporarily crooked and is messed up. But I will be putting boots on the ground, and I will be running for office. And I'm going to keep it real.
Have mercy on them people.
I'm going to keep it real. If you want to continue to get food stamps, we will have a drug test. We will have a task force. If you are at the hair salon, you're on food stamps, we want to know how you're able to get your nails and hair done, and you want government assistance. And then,
well, I tell you what,
we'll have a task force.
If you're gonna test those people who are on food stamps for drugs and all that type of stuff, then you make sure you test them politicians for drugs too, and you test their mental competence. It can't be no one-sided thing, because it's not just the people; it's the people out here running this big carnival we living in too now.
Okay, I will test. I promise you, I will test them too. But I am a big component of this. Talk to people regularly and don't overtalk them. Right?
That's right. Don't pander.
Yes, and keep it real and be more understanding. But we also have to educate the public and say, keep that same energy by dragging them politicians at their homes, at their offices, and let them know you need to do your job. Just like you call into the Wiley Show or come to your show and tell you when you're doing something wrong, do that with the people that got power to change the condition in your neighborhood. We have to be more aware and more active in our community, as well as politics, as well as what is dealing with policing. But I do want to hear your point on this, though, with defunding the police. What is your thoughts when you hear defunding? Because at first I thought they take money away from the police completely, don't give them nothing. But I got a better understanding. They're talking about, instead of giving them $30 billion, put $1 billion in mental health, put some in education, divert some of the funds from police into other areas so the police don't be so aggressive by coming in. And me personally, I had a mental breakdown. I was in the library, was on the news in Texas, and I was butt naked, and the police tased me. Now, what should have happened was a mental health person should have came on the scene. Thank God he tased me and should have shot me, but they don't know how to handle a mental illness thing. The only time I was able to get calmed down because the medical professionals were there to calm me down, right? That are equipped with mental illness. So I just think that police officers on every beat, or every station, every department should have mental health therapists, counselors, crisis interventions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, instead of just bringing the police to just help with every situation. You got people that be having drug binges. I don't think that's a police matter. I think that's a drug counselor matter. I just think that we need to invest more into other areas instead of giving it all to the police and expecting them to do everything.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a piece that we're missing. A piece that we're missing in there is decriminalizing drug use. Okay, and recognizing that when somebody has an addiction, that it's not a criminal situation, it is a health situation, and treat it that way. Yeah. So until we do that, police are going to continue to respond to people who struggle with drugs or mental health issues or whatever as criminals. Yeah. We have to decriminalize mental health issues for minorities. Come on. This is an opportunity for us to encourage more folks who are of color to get into mental health treatment or to find things or take action to take care of their mental health, because Absolutely. White people do it all the time. That motherfucker who went down there and shot them 9 people in that church in South Carolina came out of there and told them that he was crazy. They took that bitch to get a cheeseburger. Yeah. Okay. When the last time you heard of a Negro shooting somebody up and them taking them to Popeyes for a chicken sandwich? It's never happened. Never happened. You know, so we have to understand that, you know, they are very aware of mental health issues, but because there is a double standard, and because we don't decriminalize drug use, which is usually connected to a mental health issue in the Black community, they're going to continue to approach it that way. Absolutely. Black people can go to jail for breathing. Absolutely. And that's where we need to do a better job. Okay, let's get a little controversial. How do you think about Reverend Al Sharpton? My opinion is I love him. I think he's great. But I think it's time that we get more up-and-coming younger leaders to come through. I think that we need to start giving, because I love Reverend Al Sharpton. I think what he's done for the community is amazing. But I personally was kind of scared for him when he was outside with no mask during this pandemic. Because he's part of the senior citizen class, and me working in healthcare, working in these nurse homes, Rona is still out there. And if you're old and frail now, you don't want to be out there with no mask, just my humble opinion. But what do you think about them going to a funeral? Everybody not social distance, not wearing a mask. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Nobody was social distancing in the first place. I mean, let's be real. Nobody has stopped screwing since we've been quarantined. I know plenty of people who are still getting it in. I have quite a few friends who have they got somebody different in their bed every night. If you go to Walmart, people were up in there in the ice cream aisle together, grabbing that ice cream. You know, people out there fighting over toilet paper. People were in the parks. We have not social distanced. So why, you know, if I see anybody social distancing, I'm side-eyeing them because nobody's doing it. If it was as serious as we think that it is, trust and believe they would have shut this shit all the way down. If it was as serious as, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do think COVID or the Rona, whatever we calling it these days, is serious. Absolutely. But if it was as serious as they try to make it seem that it is, Absolutely. They would have said, you motherfuckers come out the house, we arresting y'all asses. Absolutely. But this is the thing, though. What gets me with people, there is some folks out here that say it's not real, and it's very real. Because I do think it's a political strategy, and I do think Absolutely. That, you know, this is something that people miss, you know, and yes, I'm an entertainer, but I also pay attention to what's going on. I think that it's quite hilarious that for the last about 3 months, school's been shut down, a lot of programs have been shut down, all this and all that weren't getting funding. That money was going somewhere. All of a sudden, we had these police brutality videos, all these protests. Now they talk about defunding the police, and we're going to allocate money to these programs and schools. Well, the money wasn't going to those schools and programs anyway because we've been shut the fuck down for 3 months. So the money was going to have to go there anyway. So they're doing what they were supposed to do anyway. They're just doing some stuff to make y'all be quiet. That's all it is. It's a game. And I don't think it's going to ever be quiet, right? I think we are according to Roland Martin, I agree with my brother, we're in the third Reconstruction. I do believe that this is an era for us as Black America. Yeah. I do believe this is our time. I don't believe it's going to end in November. Hold on. Who did you say? Roland Martin? Yeah, Roland Martin. I do personally believe that. Me personally. He's an idiot, but I can agree with him on that. But I agree with him on that because this is a movement. I feel it in the air. Everywhere I go, I feel strong. I had on my shirt today, not today, Satan. I feel empowered because I'm doing more research. I'm doing more investing.
getting my life in order as well as a Black man, and really out here wondering like, it's more to be done. I need to be that leader that I put on my wall, Malcolm, Dr. King. You don't understand what I'm saying? I have to continue the fight because I know it have not ended. Like every day I wake up, I realize racism is not dead. Even though
it's never gonna die.
It's never going to die. So that'll let me know it's still more work to be done. Like it's still more. You got to get busy. Whatever it is, whether you out there protesting, blogging, doing comedy, whatever you're contributing to society, you need to get a part of it. Be a part of the movement, whatever it is. If you're making a sign, passing out bread or whatever, be a part of it, of the solution and not the problem. But let me ask you this before we get into future. What is one of your main solutions that you think that need to happen in this situation concerning the police? What do you salute? I know you said about the funding and all of that. Anything else that you want to add as a solution?
Keep burning shit up. Burn all this shit up. You know, you're gonna have to burn this shit up and start over. You know, I'm serious. Ain't nobody doing shit else.
Wait, you can't burn sister stuff. You know the lady from Atlanta, she was crying. You can't be burning up the Black owned stuff.
You know, that even some of that is some bullshit. Some of them people out there burning their own shit down. You know, these people that stores haven't been open for 3 or 4 months. Them people trying to get some insurance policy. You can't believe everything you see on the news. Everything is a fucking mess out here. Burn it all down. Get your insurance money. Them people have made more money since those stores, because you know people don't support Black only owned business. Them people have made more money since shit has been closed down than they were when shit was open. Nobody was going to those stores. You know, and then white people been doing it too. A lot of them white people, and we saw it on the news. Those were not Black people breaking in a lot of those stores and stuff like that. They were white people, because I saw the shit and I Googled it. They were breaking in shit like Office Depot and Starbucks and fucking Anthropology and shit like that. What Black people you know in the middle of a protest stop and go, let's go get a hot latte? No. Them niggas was down there making coffee. Them white motherfuckers was down there making coffee. Now, Black people, a brother will break into Foot Locker or some shit and steal some shoes. We'll go down there and break into the liquor store, hit that cash register. But, you know, they were down there breaking into Starbucks. And I lived in Oakland for 5 years. I saw it with my own eyes. White people coming in, because most of the peaceful protesters come out in the daytime. It's the motherfuckers that come out at night with them goddamn bandanas and shit on their baseball bats, you know, busting windows out and shit. We don't do that. Black people, we don't do that. If we don't do it on the first couple of nights, that's not us out looting and stuff, because we hit the stuff, we get the good shit the first night.
Okay, well, let's get into,
and that's just the truth.
Well, you're exactly right about that. I do want to talk. I have to bring him up. Let's get into future.
Oh God,
his baby mama. He offered her $1,000 a month for child support. Elza Rain. In future offers her $1,000 a month for child support, and she thought that be reasonable. She declined that offer. I have discussions.
That's a smart girl
with my client, and we're not in agreement with it. Wrote to Future's counsel. So, how much you think she should get? How much?
You like asking me questions to piss me off, don't you? you know, I think she's right for turning that down. They need to give him $1,000 to keep his dick in his pants. You know, how many baby mamas does he have?
He have a lot of baby mamas.
Yes, pay that nigga $1,000 a month to keep his dick in his pants.
He have a lot, but I will say your sister looks good. You know, she's good looking. I work a whole lot of doubles. I don't know if she want a 9 to 5, but I definitely would work a lot for that. But because I do believe she probably needs about $5,000 or $10,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? I do believe.
Yeah, he has it. And if he don't have it, then, you know, he need to keep his dick in his pants. A lot of them celebrities will go out here and do that, and they think their dick to these women is the gift.
But
it's a celebrity.
Hard,
of course it's hard. That's why he can't keep it in his pants.
It's real hard to keep it in your pants. You know, you got all that money and power and all that stuff. I can't wait to get that much money and power so I can pull it out, you know, with their permission, because you're not just pull it out because this is a different time, with their permission, understanding all that. But I think that with Future, if he's not careful, he's gonna wind up going into serious debt, all because of all those children. Because eventually his career gonna dry up. It's gonna be somebody new, and if he don't make good investments, he's gonna wind up being a broke man because everyone.
Well, he probably is already broke if he out here talking about $1,000 a month for child support. Obviously that's saying something. Shit, either that or he's just that damn dumb.
Do you think that it is time that men, like how women on birth control, do you think they need to do that more for men in that situation? It'd be like a birth control for men.
No. If people want to be that dumb, then people know what happens when you have sex, and if people want to be out here in that goddamn dumb. See, the thing is Future goes up in these women's faces and, he be smiling and licking his lips and telling them shit that they want to hear and all that type of stuff. And if they that damn dumb to sit up there and get pregnant, then you deserve whatever comes with that. Stop excusing these adults doing dumb shit.
But this is the thing though. Going in raw is good. I don't care if you're going
We
raw.
know that it's good, but we also know what happens when you go in there.
It feels good. I really personally believe he just needs to go ahead and click, make sure we baby that. Because I'm like, yeah, man, because ain't nobody.
You think he should be neutered?
I think so. I think it's just go ahead. What do we need to do? You go through there, get that stuff together, so you won't have to keep going through that.
I don't know. Beat him. Shit, I don't know.
I don't know. Because I know how I don't like condoms, so I understand. I get it. And those beautiful women you attract.
Well, I know you don't like condoms because you never used one on me before, so I know.
Because I love wrongness. I'm like, I love it. Now, they're gonna start a cousin. Oh, breaking news. Don't be surprised you get hit up to be in a series. Okay.
Okay.
I want to say in my close with comedy because I posted on there I want to do stand up comedy, but I also heard that a lot of comedians back in the 90s and the mid 2000s felt like it was a different come up with money. Mm-hmm. They had hard to get. You have social media. Do you respect? I know I asked you this before. I have asked you to. Do you respect the social media comedians like Just Hilarious? All of these new folks that are coming up and they're getting known just by their social media. They don't know how it is being in a Motel 6 or getting robbed by the promoter, etc. Like, what's your thoughts on the today version of a comedian?
They need to burn all this shit down. That's what they do. No, I think, I used to have a lot of disdain for a lot of internet comedians. But obviously they're on to something because they can make content in their house. I'm still waiting for the clubs to open back up, so I need to be texting them bitches asking for jobs. I don't know. I've come to respect it as a lane. I understand that people like that. People respect it. There's a market for it. I just wish that people did have respect for the art and the craft of stand-up comedy. There is a level of discipline that goes into creating good stand-up comedy because, anybody can get up there, but it's an art to make it good. It's an art to make it funny. We persevered through a lot. I've been doing this for 20 years. I was one of the first Black gay stand-up comedians in the country, and I have persevered through the homophobia, through the janky promoters. I've stayed in the Motel 6s where, crackheads are out in the parking lot having wrestling matches, and I got to put a chair up to the door to keep anybody from getting inside. I've taken the Spirit flights and the Frontier flights and the Greyhound bus rides, and it's a hustle. I wish people respected it as so.
Absolutely. I really believe, though, and I'm learning from the crack because I grew up in Chicago with Bernie Mac and all of that. That's like the era. Like, I remember how they would going to them different comedy clubs. My mom used to talk a lot of stuff. So it was different. Like, it's not just you can make a post 6 million. Oh, come up on here and you can do a whole tour. And
a lot of people think you just get up there, you make some stuff up off the top of your head, and then the next day, no, it's a lot of hard work. And folks see the Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart just hit big like 10 years ago, but it took him 15 years to get to that point.
Absolutely.
And people are out and they're popping and they're funny before they get to that level, and at that point, it's like people like comedy, but people more respect comedians when you get on something and they see you all the time. Then it's not so much of your comedy. It's, oh, we went to go see this TV star in the theater.
Absolutely. Like, because when I went to go see Jess Hilarious, like, she's in a different era. She's known by her social media presence, right?
I don't think she's that funny, but there's a market for her.
And she's not, because when I was sitting there, I'm like, that's all she doing. I can do, you know.
There's
you know,
people go out and they support her. She's making money, so and
it was packed. You know, we were invited to go. Someone had some free tickets, and he said, "Wiley, I can't go." I said, "Yeah," and it was right up in the front. It was packed, and I said, "Wow," because this is the new way. You have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have Snapchat, you got TikTok. You know, you have and then you have some celebrities like my dear sister Hope. Like I was telling her, like you have
Hope Flood.
Yeah, you have to get a social media presence because a lot of the new millennials or the Gen X, or you know what the new one under millennials, whatever they're not gonna know. Yeah, because of you don't have a social media. So get on social media, get on Instagram, get on StreamYard. And now I see my sister, you know, she's doing more and more of that because you don't want to be, because if you go on an interview, Tyler Perry, Jamie Foxx this way, Monique did that. You're gonna look like a bitter comedian to the public. But if they see the grind you on social media, then they're gonna be like, okay, all right, even though you've been doing it for years. But these 20-some-year-old like me, I didn't know who she was until she went on Comedy Hype. You know what I'm saying? So she did. She got on my radar. Then I went and saw, and I said, "Oh my God, she's funny," and I like her, and I really do. She reminds me of my mother. But what do you say? Because she said something that you take a break from comedy and you get forget. Is it possible that you can, when you take a break, that people will forget about you in comedy? Do that?
Well, that's with any art. Unless you create timeless work that transcends time. You know, unless you are like a, you know, Eddie Murphy has not done comedy. Eddie Murphy hasn't done stand-up comedy in over 20 years. But if he came back, you know, tomorrow, quarantine or not, people are going to buy them tickets and be out to see him wherever he is. So it really depends on the artist and the type of work that you create before you leave.
Facts. The relationships.
For instance, Sade releases an album every 10 years. She comes out, her tickets sell out in 5 minutes. You know, so it really depends on what your work is, how timeless it is, and the type of presence that you have when you are around.
Fact, amen to that. I really love how you overcame like the homophobia. Like when I read, I see your documentary and you said, we don't want you talking about no dick jokes. We don't do pussy jokes. So you can't.
Well, I don't even talk like that on stage. There are, you know, Kevin Hart. I actually have a new special out now called Church Boy. It's on YouTube. It's free to watch, and it easily. I can honestly say the type of material, it easily could be on Netflix right now. It's called Church Boy, and it's on YouTube. If you look up Church Boy, Sampson McCormick, it'll pop right up. We just released it earlier this month. It could easily be on Netflix. I say that confidently. It's hilarious from start to finish. You know, what were we saying? I thought I was.
I don't know what we said, but I think that you're right because. I know what I was about to say.
I know what I was getting ready to say. So on Church Boy, for instance, the type of material that I use on there, I don't talk about sex a whole lot. Like I allude to stuff, I say certain things, but you know, listen to a Kevin Hart special and he talks about dick more than I do. Mike Epps talks about dick more than I do. You know, it's just a different set of rules that I have to play by as somebody who is not only Black, because Black people, you already got to come correct. And then on top of that, if you are gay, on top of that, you have to come extra hard. Like you do have to be twice as good to get half the amount of attention.
Come on.
You know, and accolades and stuff like that, because the Black gay community are some harsh critics. And Black people, you know, they don't care what you've done. They don't give a fuck if you've been singing or dancing or whatever for 50 years. When you show up, you don't get a pass. They want to show.
Come on. And then this is the thing, too. You have to actually relationship build in there and utilize social media. It's a different way now. Now you're quarantined. So this is the time how I see that you're putting out work. You were with Maddie. You've done a show with her. You're more active on social media because I think now you get that. This is why we came on the stage. I still can talk to you on this Instagram stage or this YouTube stage. Like, how are you handling being out, not be able to do shows, out traveling all around the country? What are you doing to keep your head straight during this difficult pandemic?
Well, resting. I don't get a lot of time to rest, and I mean, I'm very old-fashioned, as in I like being in person. But this quarantine time has also shown me how important it is to do more social media. And now I have time to do social media.
Right.
I care about the way that I look. When people see me, because I don't just do this just to be doing it. I don't do this just to be seen or, because to be special or whatever. I do this because I care about how Black men first and Black gay men are represented in media. So I'm not just going to be on an airplane with boogers up my nose and a, do-rag on my head. I care about the way that I look. So I might not always do social media on the road, but I know if I'm doing, an interview on Maddie, or I'm coming to talk to you or somebody else, I have time to sit up in here and get cute, and I'm well rested, and I have the capacity to have a conversation, but I'm not going to get on here and be a hot mess.
Absolutely. And I agree. And I love you because you are easily to work with. You are, if you
most of the time.
Okay. I would say for me, you are good to work with. Down through the years, you have been supportive of me when I was at my lowest of the show. You're right. Not that much exposure. You still would say, "Oh, come on. Oh, come on." And I love that about you and respect that about you, how you are still, no matter how far you go in your journey, you will always come back and be ready to share the love on somebody else's platform that might not be as massive as yours. Because I've noticed that a lot of people that are famous or big in the LGBTQI community, they don't like to come on and share the love on smaller creators' channels. So for you, you're one of the ones that actually done it. And it's many, many more that have done that. So, man, keep that. I love that humbleness about you.
Well, I'm always going to do that because, I mean, no matter where you go in your career, you're going to have to circle back around, and you want people to have your back.
Absolutely.
You want people to, understand, yes, you're on a journey, in this business, however you are, but you also want people to respect you. And so
it's about the respect factor. And for me, I love the fact that if I ever were to get into comedy, if I ever were to do it, I love social media so much that I want to go on tour and have my own stuff. I don't want to deal with promoters. I just want everything. I want to own everything. I want to be like James Brown. Just come to see me. I bring some comedians, bring some. I'm more of a Scorpio. I want complete ownership. If it's 10 people, if I own it, I want it. I'm obsessed with ownership, and I have a difficult time working with different people. Like if I want power in Hollywood, I want to put people on like Tyler Perry, Monique. I wish I had the power to put Monique in a movie just to make white folks mad.
Well, she does have a movie coming out that people should know about called Mother Trucker. That's coming out, if it's not later this year, then early next year.
Well, and speaking about Monique, I gotta ask you because she helped you in some areas. What do you have to say about her crime and inserting the George Floyd into the Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, the blogger that's been going on for 10 years. It just now back in the blogs that she is calling Oprah out yet again. So, what is your thoughts on the situation? Do you feel like it's okay for her to do that? Do you think that she should leave it alone?
That's not my business.
This is with me. This is how I look at it because I'm about owning and everything like that. Sometimes you have to know when to let stuff go. You don't forget, but then you also just say, you know what? You did me dirty. So let me go ahead and create my own lane and just go ahead and just continue to do. Because when you focus on all this stuff and you crying, boo-hooing all this stuff, they don't care. Because a lot of these people, they moved on, and this ain't the time or the place for that. What it's for is how you going to help this movement. How you going to help Black people. It is inequality goes on all. It's just there. One thing I like about Tyler Perry, he could have easily cried when they said, we don't know nothing about no Badia stuff. Go on, get out of here. Don't do it. But he found his way in. He didn't sit and argue for a table. He kind of built his own.
You mean Hollywood, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Hollywood. I'm talking about like white Hollywood did not really see black people going in the movies. It was for years. They said, oh, they don't really go. He found a niche, and his audience still faithful to that. I don't care about his quality. Whatever you want to say about that man, quiet. It don't mean nothing. If them people still coming in the doors, why try to make it into something like a Steven Spielberg production? If your people like what you got, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Especially almost a billionaire status.
Well, he is a billionaire, and then there's also that. But then he's smart enough where he doesn't have to give a damn about what he's creating because he owns his own lot, and people are paying money to shoot other movies that we see on his lot. So he really doesn't have to pick up another pen again. He's doing it because he wants to.
Absolutely, man. I really love you, man. I want you all to go. I put your special all in the chat. I'm gonna do more because I want you to be on and have your own Netflix special.
It's gonna happen.
If they offer $500,000, are you gonna boycott and say gender bias, color bias?
Yeah.
If they offer you a $500,000,
yeah, I'm gonna tell everybody to burn all this shit down. No, I'm playing. If they did, I have several friends who got Netflix specials who got paid quite a bit of money. Of course, I would do it. If I needed to shoot one next week, I'm ready to shoot one next week. It'll happen. I'm on their roster, and a lot of people who followed me know there were several Netflix shows that I was supposed to be on. I was supposed to be on Queer Eye. I had been cast on Queer Eye.
Wow.
And then a month and a half before filming, I was called and they told me that they gave the spot to Karamo Brown. Mm-hmm. And I realized that maybe Karamo is a better fit for that than I would have been because I don't coddle people. If somebody's a racist, you can be a racist, but I'm going to talk some shit to you about it. I'm not going to sit up there and coddle you and go, oh, we need to come together in unity and stuff. There's a time and place for that. But if you're talking some shit to me, I'm not about to sit up and make you look good. They sitting up dealing with racists and then they say, oh, yeah, we're going to redo you. I had ran all through them people's house doing cartwheels. So I do realize, and they didn't want somebody funny for that role. A lot of people, I want people to understand this. If I wanted to, because I get offers all the time, I would do more television. People complain a lot about the artists that represent them not speaking up about, issues and not being real and not being relatable. And what people need to understand is there are artists out here who have been around for a long time, like Mies. And, like Daryl Stevens and like Jussie Smollett, too. And, some people do get through and stuff like that. But even when he was on Empire, they tried to give him a white partner. And he told them, he said, if I'm doing this show, I'm not going to have a white partner. You're going to give me a Black or Latino. There are also other ones of us who we get contracts and we read what they want us to do. And we say, no, I'm not representing myself like that. Or the people that I represent like that on television. Absolutely. And so people don't understand that. People don't understand a lot of the stands that we take. And I think that that's good, because a lot of artists are selfish. And we see them. We know what, for instance, and this is just keeping it real, we know what Karamo was 15, 20 years ago when he was on Real World. And we know what he is now on Queer Eye. That's 15, 20 years ago, he wouldn't have been saying nothing about getting with no white dude. And now he's engaged to a white dude. They might even be married now. And he's out here coddling white people. But he's doing what he knows will get him paid. And I'm not upset with him for doing that. But people have to understand there are artists out here who play the game. And there are artists out here who respect our culture enough to want to represent in a way that's authentic and that will open doors for other little Black gay boys coming behind us who want to represent more authentically and make the type of money that artists should be making in this business.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. And that's what it is. And I'm a firm believer in if you're going to play the game, play it. But don't be surprised if you get criticized like Candace Owens.
You're gonna get criticized either way.
Right.
But I would hate to be Candace Owens. Candace Owens, I'm tired of her white black ass.
The diamond,
black white ass. That's what she is. Rachel Dolezal is blacker than she is.
Right. The diamond and silk, but they do it because it's a check. And
now diamond and silk, they goofy. They belong on the side of a syrup bottle somewhere.
They need to be in a circle. Because them girls, they should do stand-up comedy, to be honest.
No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't.
They could be in a Tyler Perry play. I could definitely see them in a Tyler Perry movie or play, and Madea confronting them about their thoughts of President Trump. I could see that.
Well, they let them tour the Klan circuit. Let them do that. Because they like when the black men be acting like that.
They really do.
Because what they do is and you can do it now. Like, you can play that whole mammy role. Like, they mammies is basically they Trump the mammies, a bunch of Trump mammies. But I'm not hating on anybody who's doing any of their stuff. They get a check, and you have to understand, like, you can't hate the players. You got to hate the game.
Come on.
People have to realize what the game is, and if that's what they want to do to make a check, I'm not mad at them. I wouldn't do it, but I understand. I understand, and they know those same black people, and this is just real. They know those same black people criticizing them. If they were out here pushing an agenda that was more beneficial to the black community, they wouldn't be getting supported.
Absolutely. And I would say we got to, because with me, when I started the show, it's difficult to get support. I still don't get support or that much from black gay men, but I get more support from women. So
put some put some dick and ass up there with you, white, and the gay men, they'll come.
I mean, I know what to do to get it. I know what to do. I could put on a wig, makeup, boobs. It's some that I even
get some people had some fist fights on the air a couple of
times.
Right,
I know some gay content creators that they put on that wig one day and they saw them views. Oh, baby, I'm keeping this up, and because people will look, and I know how to sell that. But at the end of the day, once you put on that wig, it's hard to drop it, and I know it, especially if you get really good at it. Some people got all like fucking.
Well, some of them are really good at it anyway, because that's what they be sitting up at home doing. It's a lot of them. They be out of the corner with that fitted hat on, and then they go home. They sit on the couch and watch Beyonce videos and drink smoothies.
But yeah, so thank you, man. Let everybody know where they can find you, man. I mean, the incredible, my brother Sampson. I love you, brother.
Yes, thank you for having me back. So I encourage people to go on YouTube and watch my new special called Church Boy. It is really, really funny. It's not too long. It's long enough. It's something that's going to hit your spot. It's going to hit the spot for you, make you laugh real good. You're going to have a great time looking at it. I don't put out crap. And follow me on Instagram at Sampson McCormick, SampSonMcCormick. As a matter of fact, it's my name right here. Follow me on Instagram, because on there, I put comedy on there, but I'm also someone who works behind the scenes creating stories, not just about black gay men, but about the black family, about the black experience. I put work out that I'm very proud of, that the community can be proud of, and that allows us to come out and see our reflections on screen, and see stories that make us laugh, see stories that we can relate to, see stories that expand our horizons on the ways that we can, or around the ways that we can be represented in media. Now I'm not going to do no crazy shit, because there's certain things black people just don't do. You're not going to see no black people walking down no dark hallway talking about, hello, in no dark house. They got more leaves on the inside than they do on the outside, but there can be stories about, supernatural experiences. There can be things about love. There can be things about, joy and life and loss, and tying all those things into storylines that represent us. As a matter of fact, I did it on Party and Play, which is another film that's on YouTube, and it's comedy mixed with horror, mixed with drama, mixed with love. It's everything, and it's something that I'm very proud of, and a lot of people have watched it and said really wonderful things. So just support what you want to see, and support people that are doing work that you want to see. So follow me on Instagram, watch the comedy special.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Sampson. I'm gonna see more of you, man. Thank you. And I can't wait. I've never been to one of your shows, and I can't wait to after this.
You've never been to one of my shows?
Never been to one.
Wow. Well, I come to Chicago at least twice a year, and I'm pretty sure If it wasn't for the Rona, I'd have been there this year. But I'll get to Chicago.
I'm in Dallas, but I will be in Chicago later in the year. But I will be going to show because I have to get out the house because for years I don't go places. I love. I'm a homebody type guy, but I'm gonna be going out more whenever we can go out safely.
Everybody's gonna be out. I was in West Hollywood. I went to West Hollywood this Sunday. And, it was supposed to be a protest, but, everybody was hanging out. And let's be straight. A lot of people aren't protesting because they care about Black lives. A lot of people are protesting because they're bored. I went and hung out in West Hollywood. After that protest, everybody was out there looking for dick. So, when things open back up, people are going to be, it's going to be crazy out here.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of money to be made. So a lot of money going to be made. So you got to make sure you take it. Thank you, brother. All right, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. We will see you all tomorrow. Shout out to people that's on Patreon. Thank you all for that. We're going to do exclusive story time this Monday night. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the Wiley Show channel. Thank y'all for following me on Instagram. We reached 4,000 followers, so we try to get to 5,000 followers. So thank you all, and I will see y'all tomorrow. All right, let me get where's my okay, let me close it right in there. Okay, here we go. Where we at? Oh, there we go.